Besides being a highly regarded desk clerk, I also write biographies, appreciations really of people who most have never heard of, but who have left an indelible stamp on our culture. And such a person like that was Nathan of the Streets. He's been dead 20 years. But every time I turn on Seinfeld, it's Nathan of the Street. I mean, those four Meshuggahs, they're right out of a Nathan of the Street story. Now, back in the day, back before the war, that's World War II. I realize it's a younger audience. Back in Poland, he was known as Nathan the Bodkin, which loosely translates to Nathan the Jester, which was really a humble title for such a huge talent. Little remains of his work tapes, just some recordings I made on an old Wallensack reel-to-reel tape recorder when I was a kid. Back in the day, before World War II, back in Poland, in that world forever lost, Nathan played weddings. In Brooklyn, after the war, he played the streets. He'd set up shop on Kings Highway and East 16th Street, which was the crossroads of my young universe. And he would tell a story, and then he would croon a Yiddish lullaby, and then he would go into a dance. A dance so slow and so sly that you wouldn't even know he was dancing. You would just think that Nathan had given himself up to the celestial winds. Now I would like to tell you the story of Queen Victoria and Murray as related to me by Nathan of the Streets. Murray Schuster was the Queen's personal cobbler. Now it's not commonly known, but Queen Victoria, though on the stout side, had tiny, exquisite feet of which she was quite proud. She kept Murray very busy. In truth, the Queen was desperate, lonely, living only for those moments when dear, kind Mr. Schuster would hold her feet in his strong, capable hands. Now, the Queen would have never realized that Murray's every thought was of his Queen, and how he longed to kiss her feet and worship her in a very, very physical manner. Now, they were always quite correct with each other. In fact, it was like they built a wall in between them, more like a dam. Yeah, it was as if they both realized that just the slightest breach in that dam might unleash such a torrent of passion as to leave them both quite mad, and the empire in ruins. And so it might have went that way forever, except for a particular incident that happened on the hottest day of a typically torrid London summer. Murray had an appointment to fit the Queen with her new riding boots. I have your new boots here, Your Majesty. Thank you, Murray. Mrs. Schuster. You do such lovely work. You are truly an artiste. Thank you, Your Majesty. They may be a little tight at first. Yes, yes, Murray. Mr. Schuster. A little tight at first. So the Queen put out a foot, and Murray took out a boot, and the Queen put her foot in the boot, and, you know, it's tight, you know. So Murray, like, Queen pushed, till they were both red in the face, panting. Murray sweating. The Queen perspiring. Their bodily fluids mingling. Finally, Murray looked up into the Queen's beautiful hazel eyes and said, "On three, Your Majesty." "Yes, yes, Murray, on three, whatever you say." So Murray counted off, and he got to three, and Murray gave one last giant pull, and the Queen gave one last giant push. I don't know, let me see if I can explain what happened there. I mentioned it was like very hot, right? They were sweating. So on that last push, all the sweat had run down Murray's arms onto his hands. And when he made that last push, his hand slipped off the boot. And his momentum took him face first into the Queen's most intimate of areas. And that is what broke the ice between Queen Victoria and Murray.